y'all, this is Austin Gridley Pickleball. Hey, I'm making a video series for the Retro Monday. Monday, I'll be posting a video match from the past years. A little interesting where you can see the development of my game. A lot of players pick up a paddle and they get really good really fast. I've had to improve and incorporate things slowly. I'm still improving things. You can keep continuing to get better at pickleball and enjoying it, and that's what I love about it. So yeah, check it out every Monday. Pickle on, dudes.
Championship court here at the APP Tour Mesa Open. We have our final men's pro doubles match of the day coming up here momentarily. Let's take a quick look, however, at our bracket through today. Of course, this isn't the entire bracket, but looking how our teams got here, you can see Dylan Frazier and Zane Navratil sitting down in that bronze medal match. They match Callan Dawson in the black, Spencer Smith in the white on the far end. They will start off serving to J.W. Johnson in the blue and Austin Gridley in the black.
0-0-2.
This is our third and fifth seeded teams today, so I think, you know, if you look at the bracket to start the day, these weren't necessarily the two teams you thought would be here in the winter bracket final, so love to see that. Both these teams have played exceptionally well so far here today, and of course both of them find themselves on the podium no matter how this match turns out.
Short serve. Hold, second serve.
Yeah, that toss seemed to kind of
1-0-2.
jam him a little bit. We'll have to serve short. And all these guys have had a long wait.
And we'll see if it takes them just a minute to get kind of back into the groove and warm back up here.
Right.
But luckily both of them have been sitting, so sometimes you get one team that's sat a lot longer, and that can be a little tougher.
Yeah, and I'm sure they spent some time on the other courts, I'm sure, warming up and trying to stay loose, but at the same time you're trying to keep an eye on the match that you're following. And of course that was a marathon match that we just watched right before.
It sure was.
I'm curious if J-Dub is going to try to take a little more of the middle. Of course, Austin played amazing in their last match that we saw here, but I still think I'd like to see, like he's doing right now, just taking a little bit more of that middle, especially when he's on the left side, since that's kind of the setup they're looking to have. Although we know from watching Dawson and Smith play against Barr and Stone, Smith is not afraid to go up that line behind the quote-unquote stronger player, maybe. Great defense there by Smith and Dawson.
We're definitely going to see, I think, both of these teams kind of switching up where they're stacking. I don't think we'll see either of these teams kind of stick to one format the entire time. You're already seeing it on both sides.
Yeah, again, as like we talked about earlier, sometimes you're just looking for the matchup. Sometimes you set up your stacking depending on who you're playing against and what's working. Great defense by Austin there, and then letting that ball go.
What pickups there.
1-3-1.
A little miss hit there on that volley. Kind of hit it near his handle, it sounded like. There's that high toss with the spin. A little bit on his heels there on that one. Left it short.
3-1-1. 1.
Great defense by Dawson and Smith. Oh, just too much of an angle there. See the replay here.
Almost been an accidental angle on that last one, as both our players go to hit it. It's almost like Austin pushed JW's paddle off to the side with the ball.
We did see big smiles afterwards. That's probably what that was.
Point.
As we mentioned in both of their matchups before, this is a new partnership for both of these teams as well. A lot of those today, which has been really fun to see, and perhaps that's why some of these teams you wouldn't expect are perhaps where they are in the bracket.
Right.
You just never know who's going to click with who that you haven't seen before.
1-4-1. Second serve.
Yeah, it's pickleball. Anything can happen.
1-4-2.
There's that Dawson lob.
Yeah.
Right out.
Oh, and now that Austin Gridley is back on screen, we should mention, we talked in their earlier matchup, we kind of wondered what was going on every time he kind of held his back. We were kind of like, did he hurt himself? And then we realized it was only when he did badly that he did it. We were like, oh, maybe it's just kind of like a subconscious thing. We talked to him after, and he said it's actually kind of like his reset. He does it to like reset himself, similar to, you know, how you see Leah Jansen doing her sort of routine to reset. That's his version of that. So that's what he's doing when that happens.
Oh, there's that Ernie. Back turned.
Right out.
See the replay here. Very unique Ernie. He does a great job of not hitting the post, not hitting the net. He does it really well. Looking for it again. We have a little bit of sun.
Peeking through
Kind
on
of
that
where,
side.
yeah, kind of where JW is. Sometimes it can be tricky to read the ball coming out of the sun into the shaded part of the court. Oh, kind of overreached just a little bit on that one. Great exchange.
Timeout's called by the serving team. Scores 1-4-2.
Again, we see Gridley and Johnson call it timeout. As they're serving, had the long exchange, missed the ball that probably normally JW doesn't miss. Often that's a good time to call a timeout too, just to
We'll see if they talk at all. You
regroup.
mentioned to them in their interview before they didn't really talk at all, and it doesn't look like they're doing that. They're doing a little osmosis, perhaps, of their strategy. But we're seeing a lot of really extended rallies, especially with these two teams in their previous matchups as well. Both teams being really patient. None of them really coming out you know, hot and heavy,
Right.
trying to like really rush things, trying to speed up. We saw a lot of that in our previous women's match because
Yep.
those are very aggressive players.
Right.
They're looking to speed up. They want to get in those hands battles. Not a lot of that here. We're seeing some, but they're trying to pick and choose the right moments to do so.
1-4-2.
Yeah, and I think, you know, often at the beginning of a match, you're trying to kind of feel the other team out, try to see kind of what opportunities they're going to give you. That's that Ernie again. My guess is Smith is going to make an adjustment and not leave the ball anywhere near that line because Austin's got great reach and great ability to anticipate. There's a lob, just a little long there by Dawson.
3-4-2. Side out.
Good couple points. Able to get within one here.
4-3-1.
Keep the pressure on. It's staying in.
Second serve.
Yeah, in situations like that, sometimes maybe, you know, Callan could say in if he thinks it's going to drop so that Smith can just take it out of the air. And maybe have a little bit easier shot. It's a great reset there by JW. Leaves that one long. It's a good leave.
Point.
Often the person who gets lobbed is not as sure as to whether that ball's going to drop or not, so the partner needs to kind of help out and say whether it's in or out.
Side out.
A lot of times you'll hear partners say, you know, hit it,
Yeah,
go for it,
Yeah.
something to the
That's
effect
good.
of, you know,
3-5-1.
go,
yeah,
whatever they need to give the green light that,
Right.
you know, take that out of the air.
right. Oh, just misses. That up the
I
line
couldn't tell
shot.
exactly, but then Austin put his hand on his back, and I was like, he missed
He
it.
missed it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a telltale sign.
3-5-2.
Yeah, he said that it's to kind of control his emotions. He said
Yeah.
this in order to not get upset.
Point.
I love seeing, you know, Austin have this level of success. You know, not we mentioned he's not a tennis. He doesn't have a tennis background. You know, a lot of times people think only tennis players can really be at the top, and obviously there are several people that prove that you don't have to be a tennis player to be a top pickleball pro.
Side out.
Certainly tennis helps quite a bit, but if your background is in tennis, you could still
5-5-1.
really improve your game.
I'm also really excited. I've seen Austin Gridley a decent amount this last year. Didn't have tremendous success getting towards the ends of the bracket. Played a lot with Shelton,
Right.
Jean-Baptiste, so I really love to see, you know, his game continue to improve and see
Yeah,
him
absolutely.
starting to break into those next levels,
Right.
higher levels. So I'm very excited for this year and what it brings for him and his game.
Right. I think if I remember correctly, he had a pretty good run, some good wins at the SoCal Classic, the APP SoCal Classic down in Bobby Riggs. Dawson's home club.
Little net cord there throws off. Gridley can't get a good paddle on it.
Timeout called by the receiving team.
And as a result of that, we have a timeout here called by Gridley and Johnson.
Yeah, Gridley's not afraid to use his timeouts.
No. And again, like, I don't think Johnson gave him any indication that he
Right.
needed one, or, but,
Right.
you know, Johnson very agreeable for the most
Yep.
part in most things, so has no problem letting his partner take that.
Right. Right.
And they're getting a little advice there on the sideline.
Yeah, there's times when we saw it earlier. Vivian asked Tereshchenko, asked Irina if they should take a timeout, which we thought it would be a good time to take it, but Tereshchenko said no, and that happens sometimes. That certainly, and you know, Tereshchenko's got a little more experience. She's more the veteran of the team, so sometimes it's natural for someone like Vivian David to yield to what Tereshchenko thinks. But if you're ever in that situation and you feel strongly that you need a timeout, you can just call it.
And Smith and Dawson keep rolling here, coming out of the timeout. Now up 9-5 in game 1.
9-5-1.
Ooh, catches that line on the sideline.
Yeah, it was a good drive by Spencer Smith, but and Dawson was looking to crash, but Gridley did not give him too high of a ball to attack, and then as a result, Gridley actually got a better ball back that he could put away. Dawson goes for the right hip shot, and we lost the ball.
Yes,
Gridley goes down to get it.
Good job, good job.
Well done.
Five, 9-1. Second serve. 5-9-2.
Yeah, he anticipated that ball. He anticipated Dawson. We see here in the replay, you could tell right away he thinks Dawson's going to go right back to him.
He kind of lofted it up, just like served it up on a platter for him.
Yeah.
Gave him a lot of time to set up for that.
Not a ball that normally Dawson leaves that high. He's a great dinker. It's a good roll by Smith there.
9-6-1. Second serve. 9-6-2. Side out.
Pretty big holds here for Gridley and Johnson.
6-9-1.
Johnson was looking to maybe poach, but Smith did not give him a ball that he could poach on. Oh, and he misses that relatively easy ball. They call a timeout.
Call by the receiving team. Score 7-9-1.
Once again, no talking going on. You'd think they hated each other the way they go, and they're just like, no, we don't speak to each other. We just sit here. We play with each other. That's it.
Yeah, we definitely see a lot more talking going on with Gridley and Johnson.
And I know they mentioned, you asked them before, about why they're not talking. And, in the previous match that we saw, a lot of times they knew they just needed to sort of stall the momentum, get back to their game plan. Perhaps that is their entire thought process. It's just, we know what we want to do, and we need to get back to doing that. We need to execute. So maybe there's nothing else to discuss beyond that. But it is a little odd that even when, there's nothing to say, there's nothing you want to say to each other. Like, that's just a little, hi, everybody.
Time is in. 7-9-1.
All right. We'll see if the no talking helps get them the ball back.
Gridley defended both of those. We see them in the replay. He goes for the right hip, but leaves it too far wide.
Does a good job pulling to that sideline, though, seeing that Dawson's A little too far to that middle.
Second serve.
A little impatient there. Tough shot. He's certainly made a few of those today.
8-9-2.
A little wind picked up just as Gridley hit that into his face. Pretty sure that was a factor in that ball being a little short.
Oh, Dawson goes for the attack and just clips the net, sails wide.
9-8-2.
Talking to Gridley in their interview after their last win, he actually said he likes to be the one getting picked up. He likes to have the balls coming to him. So he said that's kind of, you know, it kind of helps him play his best. And I would say he's certainly showing that to be true here today.
Yeah, there's an element of when you're seeing most of the balls, you can get in rhythm.
Absolutely.
Whereas, you know, in the case of JW right now, he's not seeing a lot of balls. And sometimes once you do see one, you can either press or you're just maybe a little flat-footed, not expecting it.
Austin Gridley
fired up there.
Says, come on, JW, I'm taking you to the gold medal match. Game point here.
Yeah, there's that Ernie, but defended well.
There's that angle from JW.
Yep.
And an even bigger one from Austin Gridley.
Yeah, it was a great comeback.
Wow, really nice first game. We'll take a short break and be back with game 2 in this winner bracket final for our pro men's doubles right after this. Welcome back to the APP Mesa Open, hosted by Vivian David and Deckelbar, as you see on that beautiful LED screen here in this brand new stadium court. We are kicking off game number 2 right now of our men's pro doubles winner bracket final. Austin Gridley and JW Johnson on the far end, taking game 1 over Callan Dawson and Spencer Smith, who are on the near end here for game 2. Lauren McLaughlin and Daniel Roditi here in the booth with you for the day. Only a few matches left to go here. Again, this is a first-time partnership for both of these teams. Look how much they started hitting to JW Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was just going to say, that they're trying to switch it up. They see that
change.
Austin has been kind of hot, and so they got to mix it up. Oh, well, he's ready for that one. But yeah, sometimes, you know, even though, again, JW is considered the stronger player, if your strategy to go to the other player's not working, then you have to get him involved and see what, you know, anybody can make mistakes, anybody can miss, so.
Oh, nice recovery there for Gridley.
Left it way too high. You see this even in mixed doubles, right? Like where typically, you know, they're going to hit to the female partner most balls, but there's times that the woman's hot and they start going to the guy, and maybe he's just making a few errors, and that happens too. It just misses that volley, and let's see if this kind of snowballs here. Hopefully Dawson and Smith can get a side out and try to get back into this game. There it is.
I would suspect a timeout was coming if they weren't able to get that
Right.
side out. All right,
Oh.
Spencer Smith
There we go.
ready for that. Puts that ball down the sideline.
Yeah, they're on the board here in the second game. See if they can get some momentum.
1-4-1.
Somewhere around that reach. So J.W. Johnson, we mentioned before, he comes over across the middle to take some balls, but sometimes it almost looks like he needs to move his feet just half a foot closer. Sometimes he kind of gets a little stuck in the mud and reaches or overreaches when he just needs to just scoot over just a smidge more.
Right, right. Well, and he's so good that he can get away with it many times. He can still be pretty precise even when he's reaching.
Gridley gives him the space, though. He knows he's, you know, possibly coming over there, so does a good job of giving him that room. Oh, I thought that might have been going out. Gridley takes it out of the air, though.
5-1-1.
Wow. Woo. You've mentioned before, sometimes watching Gridley play, it looks weird. It looks like he shouldn't be getting the shots that he's getting. But you mentioned before, it's because he has that paddle face facing down, which is a little unusual. You don't see that positioning too much at this level. And so it almost looks like he shouldn't be getting these shots because he has such sort of like a weird way he holds his paddle. But it works for him. He has a unique style, and you know, whatever works for you.
Yeah, I know, at least speaking for myself, it's hard to play against somebody like Austin, someone who's more unorthodox when you come from a tennis background. It's just harder to read maybe what they're going to do as opposed to someone who comes from tennis. Certainly when he was paired up with Shelton, I mean, that's both of them are very unorthodox. Shelton likes to basically not hit a backhand. But he's good at it. And so it's certainly not something you teach, but everybody's got a different style. And if your style works, even if it's unorthodox, use it.
Absolutely.
There's not one way to play pickleball. There are many different ways. And if what you do works for you, then you should keep doing it.
Gridley and Johnson out in front here, 6-1 coming out of this timeout. Again, Dawson and Smith didn't speak to each other during the timeout, so you'd like to imagine they would have talked about what they need to change up here and get back in it, but they didn't talk, so who's to say?
Yeah, and Spencer called that timeout. He is certainly the more emotional of the two. And sometimes the person who's more emotional just needs to regroup, calm down. I'm certainly very much like that. I'm very emotional when I play, and sometimes I just need a timeout just to kind of calm myself down.
Cool your jets sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, and there's Johnson being aggressive here, which I'm a little surprised. They didn't need to change anything up. They've been in control, and Johnson hasn't been overly aggressive with the poaches and coming in front of Gridley. So I'm surprised he's doing that a little bit more here coming on this timeout, but we'll we'll see. Perhaps it. Ooh,
that's a great attack.
It's been all Austin Gridley their last 2 matches.
Yep.
Of course, not taking away from J.W. Johnson by any means, but when Gridley is the one seeing the majority of the balls.
Right. And you
Kinda falls on
expect
him.
J.W. to, you know, play really well. And not that you don't expect that from Austin, but he is playing almost mistake-free. I mean, he's only made a few errors. Especially when you're getting to see most of the balls. The fact that he just has not made that many errors is pretty amazing.
1-8-1.
And going back to J.W. Johnson now.
Good lob over that left shoulder. Kind of got what he wanted there. He didn't get a very strong hit by Austin, but he couldn't do much with that ball. Flips the net.
Just clears the net.
Yeah, Spencer was ready for that one. Maybe a little too low there by Austin, especially because Spencer was about a step behind the line, so he had more time to react to that ball.
A little impatience from Gridley, it
Right.
looked like there.
Yeah, there you go.
I get it. I did it with grace and beauty as well, Daniel. I wasn't on camera, so no one could say otherwise.
It was very, as we said, unorthodox way of retrieving that ball.
Just desperately trying to not
sort
let
of
it go.
bumping it up 6, 7 times.
Anywhere.
Second serve.
All right, so Gridley and Johnson now just 2 points away from heading to the gold medal match tomorrow on our medal match Sunday.
Ooh.
Again, a little impatience from Johnson there. I don't think they need to push anything. I think they need to just wait for the right moment and attack. It's been working well for them. Or at least, you know. Oh, nice slice. That was an Irina. Ooh.
That was
well, that was an Irina Tereshchenko slice volley previous to that. But
right. That was 2 paddles on the ball there. Great job by Dawson there.
If they haven't taken any timeouts, I would like to see possibly one after this. If they can't at least get the stop on this first serve.
Great defense there by Smith. Dawson left the lob, I'm sure, much shorter than he would have liked.
There's
the
that
timeout. Yep.
I was hoping for. They are still on first server, but definitely a little momentum here for Smith and Dawson. I think this is a great timeout. Hopefully they can get the 2 stops coming out of it. At least that is what they're hoping for, of course.
Yeah. Of course, you see Smith and Dawson just chatting it up.
Yep, they are just nothing
practically
but
yelling at each other.
There's Shelton right behind JW.
Yeah.
Speaking of the unicorn.
That's right.
And he shall appear. So has it just been a couple errors? You know, there was that double paddle out. Do Johnson and Gridley just need to cut back on a couple errors that they've made these last couple times? Or has Dawson and Smith sort of just ramped it up here?
It seemed to me with the 9-2 lead, or I think it was 9-2, they had a significantly, I think they wanted to stay aggressive and try to close it out, right? They were doing that when they were still serving.
Oh,
It's a close.
that was very close.
Very close, but we have a terrible
called
angle.
out. We are on the wrong side.
Right. So I don't know if it was just maybe over aggressiveness on the part of Gridley and Johnson there.
It looks like Dawson and Smith have ramped up
They have for
the
sure.
aggressiveness
They have for sure. And Gridley had been making all those, so you know it made sense that he would stay aggressive because that's what he's been doing. But Dawson and Smith are a little more consistent right now. And again, he goes for that lob, leaves it short, which is very unlike him.
A lot of times he lobs, you know, at that angle, like we mentioned, is the best lob to do. He doesn't lob straight up all that often, but Gridley and Johnson have switched up which side they're on here these last couple rallies.
Yeah, just trying to look for, again, as we talked about earlier, even though the typical stacking would be with Johnson on the left, if you're losing several points, you got to make a change, give them a different look. They're back to their usual. Great point here. Nice reset. There's the angle. By Johnson there. Dawson left it just a little bit too high.
Critical hold there for Johnson and Gridley. Maintain a very slim 1-point lead here. Hoping to avoid that third game tiebreaker here.
We'll see if Gridley plays more patient or if he looks to take chances. Well, right now they have a match point.
He hasn't been threatening the Ernie a lot recently either. We saw a lot of that in the beginning, very successful as well, and he just kind of laid off of it at a certain point. But this is a match point to head to that gold medal match here for Gridley and Johnson.
Oh. Austin Gridley was actually ahead of that ball by Smith. Smith, he didn't quite hit it as hard as he would have liked to, but it ended up working in his favor. It was kind of a change of pace. Gridley was ahead of it. Ball got by him.
That serve return is long after a nice big serve return from Austin Gridley, and they are headed to the gold medal match. And J.W. Johnson gets a big hug from his partner and a smile. But Callan Dawson and Spencer Smith head to the bronze medal match tomorrow, where they will face Zane Navratil and Dylan Frazier. So some amazing matches coming up tomorrow, as we mentioned. So coming up here on Championship Court, we will have our women's pro doubles winner bracket final. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. Lauren McLaughlin here in the Franklin studio with the team headed to our gold medal match tomorrow. Austin Gridley and J.W. Johnson got the job done. Austin, this is your first sort of big pro gold medal match. How are we feeling?
I'm ecstatic. Yeah.
You're just like, let's go. I mean, no offense. But you were basically like, JW, I got this. I got this. I'm taking us to the gold. I mean, you said you like being picked on. That's what you want to do. Yeah. It worked. You were on your game. You played amazing today. I mean, how are you feeling?
Thank you. I mean, I'm hungry for success. I'm very happy and grateful for the success, and yeah, I can't do it without JW.
All right, J.W. Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend. So, of course, we mentioned before, new partnership, but you have played a bit of a supportive role here. And do you think that's easy to do when you're not seeing as many balls? Does it kind of do you have to focus a lot more to stay in the point so you never know when the ball is coming to you? How does that work when you're kind of, playing the supporting role of the partnership?
Yeah, I mean, I had to focus more because I'm not getting many, and then I'm trying to focus on, when he hits like a setup, I'm trying to focus on how fast I can get there, and then whose ball it is, and so it's good. I like it. I like the one not being picked on, so there you go.
Perfect. This is the perfect partnership then. You, of course, I mentioned before, you are a new dad, so congrats. How is first-time parenthood going for you guys?
It's you have to experience it, man. He's a good little baby though. We're very happy.
Do you want to give a shout out so when he gets older and eventually watches this and he's like, oh my gosh, look at my dad. He was like such a good pickleball pro.
Yeah, Charles Marcello Gridley. So shout out to him.
What a fun name.
Yeah.
So congrats.
Thank you
I'm
very
sure you're getting all the sleep in the world, right?
More than I deserve.
Well, that's nice. Your wife must be kicking ass then.
Yes, and we have family helping, so we're very blessed.
Wonderful. Well, congrats again, guys. You're headed to the gold medal match tomorrow. Still awaiting your opponent as that bronze medal needs to be played. But you're done for the day. Well played, well-deserved spot in the gold medal match. So don't go anywhere, guys. We have that women's pro doubles winner bracket final coming up next. We'll see these guys tomorrow, and we'll see which one of these ladies heads to the gold and bronze tomorrow as well, right after this.
Welcome to the APP Mesa Open at Bell Bank Park in Mesa, Arizona.